Hey there everyone, this is Austin Bach, and today I'm bringing you the closest thing Standard has had to a Storm deck since probably Time Spiral, built around a new Kaladesh card called Aetherflux Reservoir. You have to get up to 50 life in order to use it to kill your opponent. So the way it works is, if you have it in play, the first spell you cast in a turn gains you a life, second spell you cast in a turn gains you 2 life, third spell casts you 3, so on and so forth. I did the math. It usually takes about 8 or 9 spells in order to go off in one turn, but there's a couple ways to do that in this deck. There are 4 Foundry Inspector, which makes your artifacts cost 1 less to cast, and 4 Herald of Kozilek, which makes your colorless spells cost 1 less, which includes artifacts, of course. So the idea is to get 1 or 2 of these in play, make all your artifacts cheaper. You have 4 Prophetic Prism and 4 Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot, which draw you cards when they come into play for 2. But if you have multiples of the mana reducers in play, they only cost 0, or sometimes 1 if you only have 1 copy. But you cast a bunch of those, dig through your deck. You have 4 Cathar Shield, 4 Bone Saw, just as more free spells for your Storm turn. 1 Terrarian, just because it's the next best cheap artifact, even though it enters tapped, unfortunately. Otherwise it would be an easy 4 of. And then you try to get up to 8 spells in a turn and then kill them. There's also 4 Glintnest Crane, which is a really good early play to, find the missing piece, find a prism, or find the reservoir itself for a future Storm turn. Also decent on the actual turn you're trying to go off by just letting you continue to chain spells together, keep digging through your deck and keeping the ball rolling, basically. And then Paradoxical Outcome is one of the most important cards for both setting up the combo and enabling the combo itself. You return any number of artifacts to your hand, and then draw a card for each of them. So if you have a bunch of Bone Saws and whatever in play, you can draw I've drawn as many as 8 cards with it, and then that just digs you farther in search of a reservoir, or just lets you redump your hand, gain a bunch of life, and win. As far as the mana base, 4 Spirebluff Canal, one of the few untapped blue and red sources in the early game, let you cast your spells on time, like the Crane, the Herald. Aether Hub, the next best untapped land, makes blue or red once, and then it just makes colorless, which is fine, because most of your spells don't require colored mana. Also occasionally can make black mana for the Metal Spinner's Puzzle Knot back end of drawing an extra card, as well as Prophetic Prism, so it actually comes up more often than you might think. And then just some basics, pretty self-explanatory. No Wandering Fumaroles or Highland Lakes, because I don't want more tap lands than I need. It's really awkward on, the later turns when you're really trying to go off and you need to use all your mana and your land enters tapped. It just becomes a mess. So the sideboard, kind of a mess right now. I'm not sure about the numbers at all. These are just cards I want to test. Reckless Fireweaver is an additional win condition for when your opponent brings in more disruption and you need more ways to kill than just the reservoir. Saheeli Rai, kind of a similar role she fills, but early in the game she helps set up your draws by scrying, and then late in the game she can copy a key, mana reducer, or make an extra reservoir, draw you an extra card, Guilt Nest, whatever you need it to do, it can help you go off. We have Fireforger's Puzzle Knot, which I'm trying out against aggro. I'm not sure how good it is, but that is sort of a problematic matchup, so I'm giving it a shot. And then I'm trying 1 Panharmonicon, which I don't think is necessarily that good, but I'm interested to see if it can do anything, just as a one of. Copy your Reckless Fireweaver triggers, draw extra cards with Prophetic Prism, find an extra artifact with the Glint Nest. Maybe it can do something, you'll never know. But anyway, and then a couple counter spells just to round it out. But that's the basic gist of the deck, so let's run it through some matches and see if we can storm some people out.